Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. The South African operations of AngloGold Ashanti, which improved only slightly in 3 months to December 31st, remain outlier laggards. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Hi Martin.
Morning Sashnee.
Of Anglo's 19 mines in 9 countries, the South African operations have been the slowest in showing cost improvement. Why so?
It's quite disturbing. We see this trend with AngloGold Ashanti, which is our biggest gold mining company. We also see it with Goldfields, the South African operation lagging. This is not good for the country. We used to be the leaders. And all of a sudden, the assets that these companies like AngloGold Ashanti have outside of the country show remarkable improvement. The way they cut the costs is actually astounding. And they flashed up, onto the screen again, a graphic which showed how South Africa has improved slightly as an outlier, but insufficiently when you compare the ongoing improvement, of the Americas, in other words, the mines that they have in South America, etc. When you look at what they do elsewhere in Africa, it's doing very, very well. And if you measure it, and Australia as well, if you measure it in terms of their costs per ounce, so they're all in sustainable costs, which is a particular measure now asked for by the World Gold Council, so that everybody does the measurement in the same way. So it's the all-in sustaining cost. And you can see that, the Americas are down way below the $800 an ounce. Whereas South Africa is still above the $1,000 an ounce, and it was there is an improvement there from the last quarter, which I think it was 1,190, and it's gone down to 1,055. So slight improvement, grab onto every improvement, but the performance is still lagging. They're still laggards, which disappoints me as a South African, that we just don't seem to be able to get ahead. Even when the gold price is down, we can complain about that and say, well, the dollar gold price is down. We've got record rand prices at the moment. And the other countries that are not dollarized, that the AngloGold Ashanti has, countries in South America and countries in Australia, non-dollarized situations, they do much better. So what is it about South Africa? We do have deep, dark and dangerous mines, and that is a factor. But even on the volume front, with this bigness that we used to have, we're not the biggest anymore. If you look at AngloGold Ashanti, which is a good measure, the South African contribution is down to 26%, and if you look at the contributions from continental Africa, it's way above that. So other African countries are doing better than we are. Australian countries are doing better than we are. South American countries are doing better. We have to do better.
And what plans are in place to ensure that the South African operations see a cost improvement?
Well, there is. I could sense the optimism that they are going to do better this year. I think they've started off the year on a better footing. They've targeted a 10% improvement in the next, this year. And they say that'll translate into 10% lower costs. But we do note that we're not going to see them as often as we used to. Both with Goldfields and with AngloGold Ashanti, they've let us know that they won't be seeing us on a quarterly basis. They will report every 6 months now. And they will have a production figure out, in between. So even our insight into the companies is going to become less as it goes forward, which one has to live with it this time. I mean, these companies are very busy. They've got to do a lot of other things, and they've found that this is going to be a better way of reporting every 6 months, because they do give us a lot of access. They give us actual what they call round tables, where you sit there and you can ask questions in very close proximity. Instead of doing that every quarter now, they'll do it twice a year. But in the meantime, I can sense that they do feel that they're going to do better. The head of the South African operations, Chris Shepherd, he's convinced they're going to get this 10% improvement. And they do have some factors the tailwind is that weakening rand, which they want to bank while they can. And we could see, with Harmony, they captured that weak rand in a contract, so that even if the rand strengthens now, as we have seen it do this week, they will still be in the phase of having a weak rand benefit. When they sell their gold in dollars, the rands they get have been fixed for 12 months, so that we know that things go up and they go down. And in this case, they're trying to hedge themselves so that they can continue to get the benefit of this weaker rand, which is a factor. But we can see that all round, this currency factor is helping companies. It's not only the South African rand. You find that, the peso in Argentina and the Brazilian currencies and the Australian dollar, they're having the same benefit from that. Another thing that's benefiting them outside the country is the fall in the fuel price, in the oil price. Because outside of South Africa, the amount of diesel that's used is quite high. So that price fall is also a tailwind for them. They're taking all that and they're grabbing the cash, making sure they can get their hands on free cash, which is just the name of the game now. That's what everybody talks about. Never mind how many ounces. Those days are gone when they used to give you the number of ounces they're projecting and all the reserves they got. Now they tell you we've generated so much more free cash, and it's a free cash era. That's what they want to get their hands on.
When speaking to Mining Weekly Online, AngloGold CEO said that the company was in a sweet spot. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, for 3 years since he's been running this company, Venkat, as we call him, he's the CEO, he's been very consistent in focusing, and he's brought the cost down quite dramatically, over that 3-year period. And he's also met production guidance, which when we say they're not looking for ounces, well, they are. They're looking for quality ounces that can give them a good margin. And so he's now in the sweetest spot because he's pushed the cost down, but we see the gold price going up, the dollar gold price going up, and the rand price, going up, and in other currencies also going up. So he's actually put the company into a very good position at the moment, because it looks like their margins are going to continue to open, and that's their margins of profit. Again, you can see, when the free cash is generated, that's when you find the share price starts to move up, and that's what they're after.
And how will the company generate this free cash flow?
Yes, so this is an interesting thing there. There are several factors, and at the moment they're very keen to bank the currency advantage. So, the dollar price is rising, and then the weaker currencies give them an even bigger opportunity to cover their costs in the local currencies. And in this way, plus the favorable situation of the strengthening dollar price, gives them that opportunity to get their hands on more cash. And it's interesting that they don't only look short, because they are continuing, with certain longer term projects. And you see that even what they call the South African Technology Project, that has had a slight setback on research and development into using it in narrower reef circumstances, but still, where it is working on the pillar mining, they're going ahead with that strongly, and they've developed it well at Tautona. And it's an interesting technology because it enables you to mine safer. You don't blast, you don't shake up the place, and you backfill. So you backfill with a strong backfill so that Mother Nature doesn't know that the gold is gone. And then the success that they've achieved at the Tautona, they're willing to put funds into that to take it now to Savuka. So they're keen on not losing out on that future, but at the same time grabbing that cash where they can in the present and banking the weak currencies.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashnee.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.